What's up, everybody? Welcome to Everything Real Estate Podcast. We have our guest, KJ Mudge. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I am KJ Mudd. I'm a 25-year-old mom taking down real estate.
Love it. Love it. You want to get straight into the questions, the nitty gritty? Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, sure. However, this is your podcast. However you'd like to go about it. I'm just here for you.
Perfect. Perfect. So, how did you initially approach brokers when you first started out in real estate? And do you have any tips for building strong relationships with them?
Yes. So when I first started calling brokers over a year ago, I went on LoopNet and I went and called like over 500 brokers and had to weed through a lot of them. And a lot of them were people who weren't actually taking action or doing anything in the industry. So when I did find a few brokers that were actually doing the business, I was able to let them know, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. This is my goals. Can you help me get there? Can we help each other, accomplish something bigger than, the surface level?
Right. Like, what are some common mistakes investors make when interacting with brokers, and how can they avoid them?
I think the biggest mistake is being timid. I think they can sense when you're not confident. And that's something that in the beginning, I was like that too. And it was really hard because I would come across objections where, hey, I need proof of funds, I need a bio. And it's funny because I still don't have a bio. I still haven't made
Right.
one because I've learned how to overcome that objection. So when we're on the phone calls with brokers, I immediately say, hey, this is my story. This is what we've done. This is how many units we have. These are the partners that we have to take down these properties. And then after I introduce myself, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even need to ask any more questions. You answered them all because I was going to ask you for a bio and proof of funds, but no need for that anymore. So it's been nice because I think the main reason they ask for that is they're trying to vet you. They want to see how serious you are. And I think if you just come off the bat saying, hey, I'm buying this, this, and this, and they don't even know who you are, or if you can perform or what kind of resources you have, then they're going to be like, who is this person? So I think when you can come off strong with telling them, hey, I'm confident. I may not know everything, but I have people in my corner that know what to do. And this is how I plan on doing X, Y, and Z. Then they respect you a lot more.
Love it. Love it. Could you provide insights on how to differentiate yourself as an investor when dealing with brokers in a competitive market?
I think transparency and honesty. In the beginning, I wasn't. I would tell them I was part of somebody else's group and that we were buying millions or whatever it was. And I felt like an imposter. And I think they could sense that because they're like, okay, well, then send me your bio and send me your website. And obviously, I don't want to hurt someone else's name when I was new. And they, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to just be throwing
Yeah.
other people's names. And so then I would run into like, oh, you're trying to buy 1 billion in the next 5 years. Like, well, obviously, like, show me, like that's something big to say. So I just started saying, look, I'm newer. I am 25. I am taking action every day. I'm trying to get into the market and I have the resources. I've built relationships. I have sponsors. I have the attorneys. I have everything I need to take down the deal. I'm just missing the deal. And so I think something I came across was a lot of the brokers are like, I see that you're hungry and that you're going for it, and I want to help you in your journey, and we do this together. So there are brokers that see potential, and I think if you're honest and transparent with them, they respect that, and then they want to help you. But I think if you start off lying or portraying yourself as something you're not, I think they're going to be able to sense that and not want to work with you.
Right. Be like, my partner just bought $200 million in real estate. Just go all crazy.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true. So how do you leverage your network and relationships to raise capital for multifamily investments? Any advice in approaching investors?
I think all of it comes down to relationships, and I think it's very very important not to just right off the bat ask somebody for money. I think you want to be planting seeds and getting to know people as a person and their story and their family and being able to relate to them. And then also showing them the opportunity. When you think of it this way is, hey, I'm not asking you for money. I'm providing you an opportunity for you to make money. So I think that helps change the perspective on the mindset for some people who are scared to ask for money, but really it's not you asking to like use their money. It's them getting to invest their money into your opportunity to make money. So I think when you think of it that way, it makes it a lot easier to approach them as like, hey, I got this opportunity. You could double your money in 5 years. Would you want to be part of something like this? And if so, let's talk about it further. And something we've done is when we're networking, we talk with people. We don't bring up the numbers, not unless they like really are like wanting to know and want to sit down. But for the most part, we don't bring up numbers and all the details. We just say, hey, let's schedule a meeting. Here's our Calendly, hop on a Zoom. And then that way, when they're mentally prepared to accept and hear all of that information, then they can digest it versus you just bombarding them with information that they weren't ready for. And some people can get intimidated by that. So I would say the most important thing is just getting to know them and building a relationship with them and then planting seeds of opportunity for them.
Right. And then after you have the investors, like a list of investors that you want to pitch a deal to, and you already have the opportunity, what do you do? Do you hop on a Zoom and present a pitch deck to them, or like what is your steps with that?
So we have a pitch deck and we also do weekly webinars. And so it also depends on the filing if we're doing a 506B for friends and family or a 506C, which would be for the public, but only to accredited investors. So on a deal we're doing right now, it's a 506B. So we have to have a pre-existing relationship with someone. So we're not marketing it anywhere. And for the majority of the time, it's us bringing in friends and family or one of the GPs if they know somebody. So we just host a webinar where we can go over the details for everybody to be part of. And then we can answer all the questions because there are some people who ask questions that other people wouldn't think of and things like that because we do one off go over the pitch deck, but sometimes like if you did that for every single person you would be spending all day every day just going over the same pitch multiple times.
Right.
So we like to have a weekly webinar where we break everything down for everyone.
Love it, love it. When it comes to raising capital, what are some key factors that potential investors look for in multifamily, and how do you address these concerns?
What are the key factors that potential investors look for? Um, I would say it's the cash on cash return. A lot of them look for that, but some look for the IRR. So it depends on the investor. And so it's important to find out what kind of investor am I working with because an investor for a class C is going to have different wants and needs than an investor for a class A. So depending on what you're targeting will depend on the type of investor. And um, one of our partners had an awakening that a lot of single family investors do not work for multifamily because they want short term higher return. And so in multifamily it's a long term and you don't get quite as much, but you're planting seeds and waiting for that tree to grow. So it's a long term play in building wealth versus doing short term. But the good thing about multifamily is it's less risk than single family. So you have to find the right investors that are willing to hold that long or have the reserves to be able to invest in your property.
Right. That makes sense. Like in your experience, what roles does like market research and analysis play in your decision making process?
That's the first thing that we do. We will not underwrite a property until we've done a market analysis on the property because location is the number one the number one determining factor. Like if the location is not good, it doesn't matter how good the property is, it's not going to do well. So we're always looking like at the bigger picture of where it's at and then we go into the sub market into the neighborhood and make sure the neighborhood's good. We want to make sure there's a Chick-fil-A near around and that there's a Starbucks near as well, because both of those companies do market research as well on where they want to put their companies. So they usually put them in spots where they see growth. So typically that's a great sign that that area is growing.
Right. What's some websites that you use, like Yardi Matrix, or what do you use for analyzing and stuff?
For the market,
Hmm.
we go off of Neil Bawa's teachings. He has like 5 things that, like, if it doesn't check off majority of them, to stay away from. But that isn't something I focus on. Our team partner Max actually does the market analysis for us. So he would have to touch on that further.
That sounds good. Like what advice do you have for newer investors who are just starting out in multifamily real estate?
If I could tell myself a year ago what to do and what to focus on, I would focus on raising capital, because it's the best way to get into any deal. It's the best way to bring something to the table and provide value. And every single GP, no matter what level they are, need money. So if you want to get in with the bigger people and show that you have something to provide and want to get closer to them, they always need money. And so if I could go back in time, I would have really worked on building relationships and raising capital more, because then I would have so much more to bring to the table for other GPs and other deals. So it's the easiest way to get into a deal without having to know how to actually operate a deal or find a deal.
Right. Like consulting for equity or something, like bring the capital and then get a chunk of the deal or something like that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, you can be part of the GP. You can get equity for bringing capital, but you do have to have a substantial role. You can't just not do anything at all and bring capital. But I mean, it's a start. It's a great way to get your foot in the door and then be have that conversation of what kind of role you get to have.
Is there any, like, you were mentioning earlier the different ways you can raise capital? What was it? That, like, you gotta go through SEC, right?
You have to go through what?
And it's SEC. Is that, am I saying it right? SEC,
The
SEC.
SEC? Oh, like raising capital? Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of regulations that you have to be careful. But I mean, if you don't have a deal, there are no regulations. Like if you haven't filed for something and you're just trying to build relationships, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's once you go under contract and you filed for either a 506B or C, you have to state, like, the people who invest in your deal have to be aligned with whichever one you chose.
That makes sense. Can you give us like a step by step process of a recent deal you got, like from contacting the broker to raising the capital, just like the steps that you went through?
To get a deal?
Yeah, like just one of the recent deals that you did, like break down your deal, like a case study kind of,
Oh, you froze. Or is it me?
like a case study of
Sorry, you
like
cut
your
out
recent.
for a minute. I didn't hear anything you said.
So like, can you give us an example, like of a recent deal you
Like
closed, like
how we
a case study?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that deal was brought to us by a sub-2 student, and we were able to negotiate creative terms on that deal where we were doing 5 years interest only at 3% interest. And so it's a 40 unit in Tennessee that we're taking down. It's a class C. So right now we are renovating and cleaning up the tenants and rebranding to stabilize the property and raise the rents. And the plan is to cash out in 5 years to sell and then pay off the investors and everybody else. So that was our most recent deal. And we got that from building relationships and knowing people and being in the right room. So
That makes sense. Um, are there any specific tools and software platforms that you find valuable for streamlining everything,
mm,
like CRMs or anything you use?
I mean, we don't really have a CRM yet. We use Trello and then we use Google Sheets and things like that. But we're working on coming up with something for our CRM. There's little things in different CRMs that we don't like that keep us restricted. So it's been holding us back. So if we go all in on a CRM, we don't want to have to go and change it later on. So we've been doing a lot of research on what kind of CRM we want to marry. So
That makes sense. That makes sense. So can you tell us a little bit about your Facebook group? I'm gonna drop it right there. What do you do inside your Facebook group? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
yeah, so we created our Facebook group to create a community of people looking to connect with like-minded individuals, a lot of people doing multifamily, a place to share deals or find partners. My husband and I have our own podcast where we share about our life, and we have a YouTube channel. I should have gave you that too, but it's KJ and Joseph Mudd on YouTube. So we talk about us being married, us working together, us doing multifamily, and then we also share that in the Facebook group. And then every Friday we have a free Zoom. So actually, at in 45 minutes, we have a Zoom with a lady today named Bridget who's going to be going over Clifton strengths, and she's going to be breaking down Joseph and I's strengths because we're total opposite, but they actually work really well together. So she's going to share like how all of that works when choosing partners and finding people to work with to focus on those strengths and do better. So every single Friday we're bringing in a new guest, someone that can provide value for mental or real estate related that we can provide back to the community. So we share that live in the Facebook group as well, and it's more so just a place to connect and meet other people.
Love it. Love it. That's awesome. I like your content though. You drop a lot of good stuff. I've been following it and stuff. It's awesome.
Thank you. I'm trying to work on it.
Do y'all feel like a power couple, like Jay Z and Beyonce or something?
I would say so. Yeah, I told him yesterday. Actually, I was like, "Wow, we really do complement each other." I was like, "I guess we were meant to be married."
That's awesome. And that we'll be interviewing him at 2 also for those that want to come check that out. It's awesome.
Yeah, he brings a lot of value with knowing stuff about lenders, underwriting, deal structure. He's good at negotiating. So we stay in our own lane and we each provide value in different ways that we help each other.
Love it. Like if you could pick like 5 markets right now, like cities, which ones would you say are really hot right now for multifamily?
Houston, Dallas, um, I would say North Carolina and
Bless
sorry,
you.
um, thank you. Georgia's good. All the landlord friendly states, to be honest. But
No
we're kind of
California?
no. We're trying to stay focused in landlord friendly states, but we are also trying to narrow down staying in Texas just because our Tennessee deal, it's hard to reach that. And so since we're on our third acquisition, like we chose to be in Houston for this one, which will be good because that's where I'm located and we can go be boots on the ground. So I'm excited. We close on that next week. And so I'm planning on having like,
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm planning on having like a meetup where we can bring people and show them and explain like, hey, this is how we found it. This is how we took it down. This is our plans with it. And hopefully we can build a good relationship with the tenants and things like that. So I'm excited.
Nice. Are you a book reader or no?
Yeah, I like books.
What is your top 5 books?
Hmm. Where are my books? Oh, there. Joseph has them on his shelf. Um, Man, you caught me off guard. I don't know off the top of my head, but I have like a list of them in his office. Like if I could see them, I could tell you. I like the Who Not How, and there's one about building relationships with friends. Something about having friends like you or something like that. It's just a way to
Oh, yeah, I know that
you know
one.
what I'm talking about?
It's like Dell
Um,
something is the author. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
and then the Robert Kiyosaki books are good. And I like learning stuff about your psychology and how trauma and all of this affects how you work. So I love to learn. That's like one of my favorite things to do. So
Right. You like Atomic Habits?
yes, that was a good one
That was a
too.
good one, right? Cool, cool. So what are you working on? Like where do you see yourself in the near future? Like fast forward like a year from now, where do you want to be?
Um, I want to be talking on stages. I want to be helping people. I want to help others get their first deal. I want to be cash flowing a lot of money from our properties once they're stabilized, and just taking down more multifamily.
Love it. Like if somebody comes across a deal, first before I go to that, what's your buy box?
It's complicated. It's a lot of things, actually. I have it if in my Facebook group, it's pinned on our featured tab. There's a picture because it's a long list. We're very
Okay.
particular about our buy box. So,
Are you
but
able to share your screen?
uh, let me see.
I was gonna see if you could just show it one time. Then I was gonna see what's the best way for somebody that's new that sees this in the future to submit a deal to you. I'm not sure how to do it either. I think you just hit present, I believe.
Honestly, my internet is really slow. I'm struggling.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, just go to the Facebook group and the buy box is there in the feature tab. And so, how would you recommend somebody submit a deal to you? Just reach out to you on Facebook or Instagram
Yeah,
or
I think Instagram's the best way to get me, or Facebook Messenger. And we're looking for we were originally doing class C's, but not anymore. We want to do um, B plus, and we're not opposed to doing newer builds. We want to have somewhat like it needs to be already being leased out, but we're willing to take over it and continue leasing it out. So,
that makes sense. So,
and there's
so
more
somebody
details into that.
that makes sense. So, if somebody's watching and they're new and they don't understand what Class A, Class B, Class C, how could you explain that, like, for them?
It's the age. So depending on how old it is and the condition of the property. So like older properties are gonna be class C. The maybe like 2010s are gonna be like class B, and then like the last few years would be class A.
Right. Who's like a role model in real estate? What got you involved in real estate? Like, what got you motivated to jump into real estate?
I've always had an entrepreneur mindset, and I never felt satisfied working at a job, and I don't like people telling me what to do. So
Right.
I always was looking for ways to make money, and when COVID hit, I knew about real estate, and so I was like, we're gonna figure this out. And so we sat and watched YouTube every single night and just started taking action, and that's what got us where we are now. I just don't like to settle. I want more in life than working at a job and living paycheck to paycheck. So I'd rather
Right.
hustle and have what I want.
The rat race is killer, right?
It is. I'm like, if you're gonna work either way, I'd rather be working towards my dreams and goals.
Right. What did you do before real estate?
I went to school to be a teacher, and I used to be a bartender and things like that. So I was originally going to be an elementary teacher, and then right before I graduated, I closed on my first wholesale deal, making half a teacher's salary in 1 month, and then that's when I had the light bulb go on. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be a teacher.
Right. I see you in sub two. You grown like quick. Like you grew quick in there. You know.
I appreciate that. I'm just trying to help other people and take action and share my story, because we started in multifamily with no money at all. So we didn't know what we were doing. And then within the first 7 months of us not knowing anything to like 7 months later, we had closed on 2 deals, 70 units total. So for me, before we started multifamily, always seemed like something that was so far away and so unattainable. And to like go against that and prove that it is possible, it was really exciting. And I hope to motivate other people, because I always had the mindset that I had to do single family first, but single family
Right.
didn't bring me joy, and I couldn't see the end in sight on building wealth in single family because I was
Hmm.
dispoing and I had so many buyers saying, "Oh, I'm selling my portfolio. I'm getting into multifamily." And I was like, "Okay, why I don't want to be you in 10 years. Like I don't want to be "Oh, okay, I'm selling all my single family so I can get into multifamily now." So that kind of like triggered a thought in my head of why not start now? I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna figure it out. And so
Right.
that's how it happened.
One reason I like multifamily over single family is like, what if, if the tenant leaves, the one tenant just trashes the place and leaves, now you have to fix it and you have no cash flow. But in multifamily, if one leaves and it's like 90% occupied, you're like, oh, screw it. Like you're still getting something, right? I like that.
Exactly. It's less risky.
Right. So what are you working on in the future before we end this? Because I know you had to get off to go to the meeting thing. So like what do you got working on in the future?
We are working with Tim Mai here in Houston. We're gonna start helping teens get into multifamily. So there's a whole teen program that we're gonna get started helping mentor and facilitate. So I'm excited for that. And then we got some other properties that we're waiting to go under contract on. So once that happens, that'll be great to talk about. It's gonna be a cool experience, and we're just trying to find ways to help more in the community and bring more people up, and we're always looking to teach others and do deals with others, and we're always looking for money as well. So
Love it. But whenever you do one of your walkthroughs, like for a Texas property, let me know. I'll go over there and show support and check it out.
yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to have you there.
Awesome, awesome. It was nice having you here. And you have anything you want to end it with anything, or you're good?
I'm good. I appreciate you having me on here, and I look forward to working with you.
Look forward to working with you too. Thank you, and you have a great day.
Awesome. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.